It is August the 21st on a Sunday, WWE SummerSlam time. Excuse the epoch music that we got playing right now in the background, but I thought we would do something a little better than just dry introductions. I am Adam Martin of Wrestleview.com. Hi, I should probably put my... There we go. We'll say hello that way. We are live on Facebook, facebook.com/Wrestleview. This is Wrestleview Live number 2, and I am not alone this evening. I am joined by Mr. Doug Lackey. Douglas, how are you, sir?
I feel like I just came back from slaying a dragon.
Yeah, I was trying to look for some royalty-free epoch music, and I thought I'd nailed it with that one, but maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, you sure did. I just forgot my Viking horns and finding my hot princess that was in distress. So, but no, that was good enough.
So we're gonna be here for we'll see how it goes. It's a late night. This is this is the first time we're doing this after pay-per-view. The last time we did this was after the draft. It went extremely well. We got a lot of good feedback from people watching us on the Facebooks. So I enjoy the Facebook format, and a lot of people are on Facebook talking about the show already. So we figured let's come on, at least put the live feed up as we're recording it. So again, facebook.com/Wrestleview. You probably already have that now. We've shared this to the Trey and Adam show group, which we are frequent contributors with discussions and stupid pictures and videos and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Doug is at Doug Wrestleview on the Twitter. I am at Wrestleview on the Twitter. And speaking of Twitter, we have a poll question for you on the Wrestleview Twitter asking what did you think of SummerSlam tonight. I was actually surprised, Doug. I thought we weren't going to be starting this until a little after 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 my time, but they ended up closing it. What did they go, like maybe 5 or 10 minutes?
It went like a normal pay-per-view. Yeah, it only ended maybe 5 or 10 minutes of overage going post 11. I was anticipating midnight. I was anticipating the worst of the worst.
And these, the new kind of trend, they started this. Well, this isn't the first SummerSlam that was 4 hours. Last year was the first one, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know if I guess that's the thing that's kind of stuck out the most to me was and we'll get into some thoughts on the show, and obviously I want to go back to the poll question. The poll question on at WrestleView was, what did you think of the show? Right now, 45% of the votes are thumbs down, 32% thumbs in the middle, and 23% thumbs up. So it doesn't sound like a lot of people like the show tonight. So we'll have to get into that a little bit, but I guess the time factor, I know I retweeted this funny image of when Renee Young was up and her face just looked tired from,
yeah.
She had to, she was part of the panel and they were doing stuff for the pre-show, the kickoff show was 2 hours. Then this actual show ran 4 hours and change. So it's a lot to ask, and I was thinking too, like as the beginning of the main event was going, I tweeted out it felt like the crowd in Brooklyn was gassed. Maybe that's totally not the case for people that were there live tonight, but it just felt like people were tired. Maybe not a good idea, Doug, to be doing 4-hour shows more than once a year outside of WrestleMania. Maybe.
Man, it sounds like it was a combination of a lot of things. First, I don't believe that saying the crowd was gassed. I really don't think that's the case. I think it's a combination of people becoming listless, becoming tired, and tired is another word. I prefer listless, and then they become cranky, and then they start doing a lot of random chants, to try to give each other a second wind. You can look up and down the card and how the show was structured. And when you look at it on paper, you go, well, this sounds like a fine show. How could this be a problem? I guess the only big concern that I have with this that probably caused the listlessness is the direct middle of the show. Having Jon Stewart on the pay-per-view, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of the guy. Loved his stuff, love everything that he did a year and a half ago. He has not been on television but maybe twice in the span of 365 days. And when he just randomly appears on a pay-per-view with, the only way people would know that he exists is if they watched the CBS Late Show here in America. But if you see him on there, you're like, well, what's this guy doing here? And then that basically it honestly did bring the show to a screeching halt. It made everyone cranky and irritable. Again, I like the guy, but man, that really had no place for the show whatsoever. You could have had a fan be on there or something, or have a different celebrity, at least someone who's in the current eye, be on there. But that just grinded it down to a halt. People got cranky. And I believe it's after that, then you can kind of understand how people, I will go ahead and be brutally honest, the Dolph Ziggler-Dean Ambrose match for the world title, the WWE title or whatever title it is called now, I was drifting in and out of consciousness. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was getting tough. And then the six women tag match, I was drifting even harder. I had to pause it. I had to have a cigarette. I had to make myself another Jim Beam and Coke. I needed some help here because I could not afford to fade during the show. And yeah, it's a combination of a lot of things. To say it's the length of the show, absolutely put it as part of that. This was never, when we had pay-per-views, we've had pay-per-views that last 4 hours before with WrestleMania and in the traditional pay-per-view structure and everything. But the problem is now that everything is on the WWE network, and now that they have basically carte blanche and full reign of however long they want their matches to go, I have a feeling and I fear that most of their pay-per-views are going to feel like an episode of Saturday Night Live. They won't know when to end the sketch. They won't know that, maybe 15 minutes in a match is long enough. Maybe we should have gone just 10. Is it really necessary to go a full, 20 minutes on a throwaway singles match or grudge match? It seems really, really, it's like they're flexing their muscles somehow. It's like we finally get to do what we've always wanted to do. You fans bitch about not getting wrestling. Here's your wrestling. Well,
too much.
Now it's too much. Okay.
Well, and I also think the other thing too, I mean, there's a lot about the show tonight that there was some stuff that was really good. I thought AJ Styles and John Cena did a really good job tonight. They have really, really, really good chemistry together. But, and you were talking about, stuff going too long. They decided to completely cut Roman Reigns and Rusev. They did that match, 6 days earlier on Raw, and everybody was really questioning that move of, why are you, doing this match now when we're going to see it on Sunday? But there was a lot of stuff like the Sasha Banks Charlotte match. That was a mess. That was a complete mess.
Oh yeah.
You were talking about Ambrose and Ziggler. The crowd did not care at all. Just zero fucks given. If I had to be blunt about it, and again, this is that problem of you give them how many? What was there's 3 matches in the kickoff. It was that big 12-man tag, the Sami Zayn and Neville against the Dudleys, and then Sheamus and Cesaro, which was supposed to be part of the main card and got shifted to the kickoff. So you had 2 hours of that. So you already have an audience of 15,000 plus. Some of them maybe attended NXT the night before. You asked them.
Of course they did.
Of course. They come back again. They sit through 2 hours of a pre-show, and then they sit through another 4 hours. And I know that there's kind of a goal right now, which is, trying to make SummerSlam kind of this new big weekend like how WrestleMania is. And I get that. I truly do get that. And I think that there's still stuff they can do. I just don't know if this is... I don't know if this is the answer to do the 4-hour thing continuing forward. It just... And I don't know if it was just a genuine lack of buzz for SummerSlam this year compared to last year. I did truly feel, and I've repeated myself multiple times, so if you've heard me say this, I'm going to apologize to begin with, but I did feel like with the draft having taken place a couple weeks ago, this was another kind of roadblock a little bit of there's still a few things they have to get through until they get to these exclusive shows coming up. Now we're going to get completely pelted with these Raw only shows, and SmackDown has a Backlash show in a few weeks, and right after that there's a Raw show. I think it's the Clash of Champions. They're going to take on that moniker. So they even did a graphic tonight of, we're going from 12 shows to like maybe 19 or 20, I think, now going forward. So you're going to get a lot of these specials. I just don't know if outside of WrestleMania we should be doing 4 hours. It really, I mean, I could see it, and I don't know if I'm following just snarky ass people, but even people, that I was following that were attending live were kind of saying like, oh boy, this crowd's kind of starting to lose interest. And granted, there wasn't a lot of intrigue in Ambrose and Ziggler to begin with, so I really don't blame the crowd for kind of acting the way they did. But it's just a lot of wrestling. I thought this is a wrestling, and then not to mention they're there again tomorrow night in the same arena for Raw for another 3-hour show. So
Ugh.
it's a lot of content, Doug, and maybe that's the problem, is there's too much content, which is hilarious because, like you were saying, most wrestling fans are dying for content, but they're getting too much. Maybe that's the problem.
I don't know if it's as much that there's too much content. I mean, yes, they're finally getting the wrestling that they've always wanted and that they've always asked for. There's no more talking. There's no more of this. Hardly any interview segments during this entire pay-per-view. I think one of the biggest problems with this being the second year of the SummerSlam weekend that we're having, is that it's all done in the same arena. It's all done in the same locale. Okay, they've signed this agreement with the Barclays Center. I don't know how many years that this is going to be, but this was honestly a bad move. It's just like how with WrestleMania, they're always at a new location every year for WrestleMania. But however, they'll have NXT's Saturday show be at one different location. WrestleMania is in the large open-air outdoor stadium. And then Raw is in the smaller basketball arena that'll be there in the city. You have 3 different arenas, 3 different feels of the show. Okay, and it looks and feels that way. This, I'm telling you, Saturday today and then going into tomorrow, I swear I'm going to feel like I've been watching 9 hours of Raw. Okay, no difference whatsoever except for maybe the stage. That's it. If there's any other differences, maybe the content of the people in the crowd, where there are a lot more 20-something men at the Saturday's NXT show in comparison to Sunday and Monday, but you can't really tell the difference. They're probably attending every single show. I don't like this idea of having a massive weekend for a pay-per-view like SummerSlam, but everything being in the same location. They have to be in different locations.
According to CJ, he's chiming in our Facebook Live. He said they signed a 3-year agreement, so we'll have one more year of this, and then and then maybe we move on somewhere else. But for a while there, they were always holding it in Los Angeles. They had the kind of
it was always at the Staples Center.
Yeah, which I was fine with, but I get, from a business perspective, they have, the WWE 2K17 thing going on. They have, NXT, they have this, but it's a lot. So I don't know. I mean, that's kind of up to the people that are listening now, or if that was an issue to them. But this crowd was definitely gassed. I felt like they were gassed as we were going into and I was actually, I was like, okay, when they cut Reigns and Rusev, I was actually okay with that, because I was thinking like, oh man, we got to do this match, and then we still have to get to Brock and Randy. Yeah. Which let's just start talking about the show. We might as well talk about how they ended it. Which, okay, and again, I don't want to spend too much time on this because we did talk about this on the draft show, but this is Brock's first, I guess you could say, match since his return to the UFC back in July at UFC 200. We know at this point what went down with that. He won the fight. He got popped by USADA. He's going to be contesting that, I think, in the next 2 or 3 days. Whether or not that's even a goal of his to contest it and continue on in mixed martial arts is anybody's guess. It doesn't sound like it. He got like it was like close to a $2.5 million payday, something like that. That was just his purse to have that fight at UFC 200. But this was still on the docket. The SummerSlam thing was on the docket. I mean, they were promoting that during his UFC appearance. So this was always the next step, regardless of whatever was going to happen with his return there. I've taken a little issue with the fact that, yes, there's that stipulation in the talent wellness policy that says if you're a part-time performer, which is what they've said, you're not subject to everybody else. I still think that's a little silly, but it's the rule, so I can't get mad at the rule if it is really truly a rule, which it is. You can look it up in the bylines and you can see it. It just kind of feels like the last 10 years of we're trying to clean this place up kind of feels like a sham a little bit.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It is entertainment. I've read countless people say, I don't care if Brock Lesnar and John Cena and The Rock and Triple H and guys like that are, juiced to the gills. We just don't care. It's not a competitive sport. This isn't real. It's entertainment. So who cares? And I totally get that point too. It just feels a little silly that the narrative for the last 10 years is we're jumping in here and trying to clean things up. And maybe that testing, I've heard it to be described as an IQ test. Basically, if you know when it's coming and you know what to do, and if you fail that test, it's an IQ test, basically. But regardless of that, Brock was coming into this. I was thinking about this too, Doug, as he was walking to the ring tonight. We're going on, I think, 4 years now of him being back. We didn't get to experience it live, but we were there when the buzz was starting at WrestleMania a couple years ago in Miami. We were sitting at a restaurant reading the rumors, and he walked out on Raw the following night after WrestleMania. But he's been in and out. He did sign that renewal with them a little close to a year ago now. Mm-hmm. What did you think about how the effectiveness of the use of Brock, tonight, putting him in there with Randy, with somebody new, and then kind of doing what they did with Brock and Cena back in 2012, where Brock opened up Cena the hard way, which is what happened tonight. We went through, what would you say, 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of brawling, and then bam. As soon as I saw him drop that elbow, I knew what he was doing. It immediately reminded me of what happened with Cena, where Cena obviously gave the okay, and Orton gave the okay tonight. I know some people were like, oh, he didn't give, we don't know, but you would have to think so. I mean, you wouldn't drop an elbow like that on somebody.
Of course they gave the okay. Don't try to add extra drama to something that you wish had more drama.
I saw people all the time like, I don't know if Randy okayed that. I'm like, of course he did. He wouldn't let anybody voluntarily do that. But did you like the effectiveness of kind of bringing that element of a mixed martial arts stoppage into the pro wrestling world, or do you think that's going to kind of fall? There's going to be maybe some confusion with, because I know I've talked to many mixed martial arts fans that do not like the blurring of the lines. Are you okay with inserting that element into a WWE kind of entertainment presentation?
I have absolutely no problem with the blurring of the lines. In fact, I think it augments anything that it's brought into, just as long as it's warranted, But at the same time, even spontaneous bursts of people get gashed accidentally, okay? People get hurt and they have to patch them up, okay? Even when it's in a spontaneous nature like that, I believe that adds something more to the match. That adds more drama. That adds more suspense. It's like, God, it's just like the kettle's been taken off of the burner, but then you put it back onto the burner, boils back up and gets back up to a high fevered pitch. When it comes to this match in particular, and I can definitely understand making the comparisons to his very first match back 4 years ago at Extreme Rules against Cena. I can absolutely get the comparisons. The problem is this is a little bit of an unfair comparison just because we already know what Lesnar can do now. It's unfair to say that in comparing it to 4 years ago where, holy crap, here's Lesnar. We know what he's been doing. Well, now it's 4 years later, but Lesnar hasn't been doing that so much. And so seeing that here, sure, it has that extra oomph, and I'm glad that they did something like that to end the match, rather it be the focal point and beginning of the match. There was some kind of, when you watched Cena Lesnar at Extreme Rules 4 years ago, there was when that happened, the first minute and a half of it, you felt uneasy. You felt awkward. You felt like you were watching something that really should not be happening. You felt like you're watching something grimy and gritty, and man, you just feel very uncomfortable watching it. Whereas this match, it's well, they're just having a match. They're just beating each other up and they go through a table and yeah, whatever. And oh, there's the blood. Oh, it's a little too much. Oh, that's the end of it. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't have that scare factor. It doesn't have that scare tactic in it. The shock is gone. And so I think it's just because it has the visuals doesn't mean that it's necessarily the same. But I can understand putting that into this match, into what led up to what happened after the match. Okay, everything's got an ebb and flow to this. Everything is happening for a reason. Don't ever think that something just happened spontaneously and now we got to add drama to something that already is chock full of drama. Stop it.
It just, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought that they were obviously contending with a crowd that was, I wouldn't say bored, but was like, okay, let's.
It was getting past their bedtime.
Yeah, it was.
They were getting tired.
There was definitely.
They were getting cranky.
There was a reaction to Lesnar. Like I heard and it happens every time he walks into an arena. There's that like, oh, okay, but it was dragging a little bit. I did think the blood actually, and major props to Randy for letting someone like Lesnar do that, because that does not feel nice.
No.
And you're gonna feel I was genuinely surprised when John Cena allowed Lesnar to do that, and that there was an agreement to do that, because again, this is that blurring of the lines, and it even happened earlier tonight, like when Seth Rollins put a triangle on Finn, I was like. You could hear it, like the crowd was like, what's I don't understand what this is. And this isn't me being contentious, because I am a big mixed martial arts fan, but I also am getting a little weary of the blurring of the lines a little bit too much. It's a little silly. Like you shouldn't be throwing. I've never really been a big fan of The Undertaker doing it, because it just never really seemed to work. And clearly there is an audience that watches both, but there's also another part of that audience that just doesn't understand it. So why do it? But I give them credit for trying new stuff. I'm kind of with you. I thought it was more effective when they did it with Cena, because it was very early in the match. Whereas this one, it was kind of a different take. It was just, that's how it closed. That was the end of the show. You had Shane getting involved. But I did think it was pretty effective. But I think the catalyst here is length of the show. It was just a big. I mean, there was a moment too where I was watching stuff on the timeline. You have Styles and Cena as the fourth match of the night. I mean, I get you can't do the WrestleMania mistake of having big match after big match after big match. You have to kind of let the crowd breathe a little bit.
Yeah, you got to have buffers. You got to have buffers in between.
But there was people pretty surprised they went with Sasha and Charlotte as the second match of the night. They were thinking maybe that would be kind of a different setup, but I guess, do you have any problems with the pacing of the card tonight? Do you think that maybe played a role, and that maybe had they switched some stuff up, it maybe wouldn't have dragged, or was time going to be against them regardless of how they...
I think, well, by Jon Stewart complaint aside, I really do think this card could have been restructured, and the crowd...
Uh-oh. Hold on a sec, everybody. Okay, Doug, I think we lost you there for a sec.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Can you get me now?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. My Jon Stewart complaint aside, I really do think this card could have been restructured and the crowd not be as cranky. I mean, sure, it still would have been 4 hours plus, but I don't see them getting as listless as they would have. First off, starting it off with Enzo Cass versus Jericho and Kevin Owens, that's a great beginning. I mean, there's no problem with that. You got to have the talkers do the talking at the beginning of the show. The Charlotte-Sasha women's title match, I would not have done as the second match, but I would not have given that near the end of the card. I would have made that middle of the card, like maybe the fourth or fifth. And we're looking at 10 matches that they had going on today.
Do you think they were nervous tonight?
Very. If not nervous, let's go and face facts too. Maybe they were tired. Okay, they were doing a lot more than just, preparing for just this show that they were doing. They were doing a lot of promotional stuff all around New York City for the past week. They did stuff also when it came to just showing up for the NXT show that Saturday. I think they might have just not. They just didn't know what was going on. just a bad day.
I was,
it was sloppy. I'll give it that.
I was surprised at the amount of telegraphing that was taking place between the two of them. There was this kind of like seconds in between stuff. Like it was it was like they kind of lost their train of thought, or they just didn't get the pacing down right, which is weird because they've had very good matches together in NXT. They've had some pretty good matches on the main roster together. I don't know what happened, and they were doing these transitions to get to these big spots, and normally those big spots would be very, very effective. But because of how sloppy it was trying to get to those spots, it was just distracting. I did like the finish. I thought the finish was really well done. But it was just it was
too complex.
Very complex.
And can you imagine? This is the kind of match that usually happens when Beth Phoenix is at the helm. Okay, this is exactly. Beth Phoenix was watching this, and she was going like, "Oh, that was just a great idea. That's what I would have done too." No, what I don't want to say what the ladies should have done or shouldn't have done.
Yeah,
but I guess what I would want to say is, why couldn't you just throw in the spots that you did in your NXT matches? No, and not everyone has seen your NXT matches. Just go and throw in those same spots. It's not like we haven't seen the same match from the same people, given X amount of time. Don't believe me? Go watch Cena versus Umaga, no holds barred, and then watch that same type of match in Cena Rusev, I Quit. It was the same match, same everything. Okay, but no complaints from anyone because they were both good matches. There's nothing wrong with doing something that you've already done. Don't try to do a freaking widow's peak into a corkscrew, haha, I got your nose thing. Just do stuff and do something that everyone can grasp on.
I'm reading some of the comments, and Frankie and Steve, I believe, said it looked like, maybe they. I'm reading just there's a bunch of plethora of comments coming in, but they were saying like, was an audible called? It looks like they were trying too hard to get some of the spots in. That it felt like they had an idea of what they wanted to do, and they were like, it's like they panicked in between the ideas and the spots, and then they just kind of went for stuff, and it didn't come to, and everybody has an off night, and I hate to sit here and be super critical, and but it just, that one didn't go too well.
But I can go ahead and say that, God, every single performer has a bad night. Every single one of them botches, and botches bad. Okay, the problem is it takes a really good performer to ad lib, to improv a little bit, to maybe go off the cuff, off the fly, and just do a typical back and forth, 3, 4, 5 spot segment or something like that. You can't just go, okay, that thing effed up, well, let's try it again. Don't do that.
Which is what they did. They panicked.
Yeah, they panicked and went right back to the script. Go off script a little bit. Just slap each other in the face. That's all you got to do. Or just have Charlotte go out of the ring and just catch her breath and act like something just almost happened that was really bad. Don't go right back to the script. That just makes it worse.
I'll tell you two guys who didn't have a bad night, and that was John Cena and AJ Styles.
Pretty much.
They just seem to have a really good chemistry together. And it's funny, too, because I recall our conversations we had back in the Wrestleview radio days as part of the VIP section. Mm-hmm. And we always had kind of I don't know if I want to call it an attitude, but we kind of were like, I don't know if the AJ Styles kind of thing would work in this company. And I think we all accepted, like, especially when he left TNA, that was kind of towards the end of our situation with Wrestleview, and he had gone to New Japan. He was really coming into his own there, and he was showing, like, hey, you can kind of get that TNA stink off you, which a lot of guys like Samoa Joe and Bobby Roode and Eric Young, and they're all kind of starting to get that off of them. Now, Austin Aries is another one. But I was kind of curious how this was going to work, and I know there was that overreaction to him losing at WrestleMania, which I didn't have any problem with. I thought it was just cool he was on the card. I mean, I just never expected him to be on a WrestleMania card against a big name like Chris Jericho. But there was this, like, and maybe it's the culture we're in now with wrestling fans where they expect things to happen immediately, and we need to talk about that with Finn, which what they did tonight. But there was a genuine effort, it seemed like they did with AJ in the summer, especially with John Cena. and even splitting him away from Gallows and Anderson. Were you surprised, or were you expecting it to be that's the direction they're going to go? They're going to have Cena kind of, I don't know if I would use the term pass the torch, because to me, Cena works with a lot of guys and loses a lot, even though the narrative of the internet is that John Cena never loses, because he does. But we're getting towards the end of John's career, and I think, they need to start preparing. They need to kind of get the roster ready for the next crop of guys, and they need guys like AJ. But I don't know about you, but I've been pretty surprised at how quickly AJ has transitioned and how well he's doing right now on this roster.
I'm pleasantly surprised. Because, let's go and be totally frank. We had our attitudes about TNA and the stuff that happened over there and the nice little, reviews that I always gave for Wrestleview Radio. And my thoughts on AJ Styles were always that he just does things. He has he just doesn't sell it. He would have no continuity in his matches. His matches never told a story. All they did was they did moves for the sake of doing moves, okay? AJ Styles now in this arena, in this realm, you can call it. Wow. I never knew that he had something like this to where he could actually emote, not just facially, but also have, the nonverbal cues throughout him showing, the frustration and disappointment and pure anger and everything. But what's more is the people that he has gone against in the WWE so far. And just think about it since he's come back. Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns, and John Cena. Okay, those are his three that he's really had a lot of time with. Okay. He has shown a lot of stuff that he can do that he never, ever showed anywhere else. And it mainly has to do with emoting. It has to do with nonverbals. And he's doing a fantastic job with it. And I'm surprised that the moves that he did then in other places is flying now. But I like how they are putting less an emphasis on the Styles Clash. I never understood why that move was so good. I never understood why that was such a big deal when it doesn't really look like it hurts. It looks like it's more dangerous to me than anything else. But to use the forearm off the top rope, the fabulous move, I'm a little hesitant about the springboard 450 thingy. To me, that's the only thing I would probably take out of his set. But, hey, you got to have that in there, I guess, to get something from the crowd. But again, him being in the WWE right now and seeing what he's doing right now is really amazing. However, do not call this a passing of the torch. This is by no means what I would ever call a passing of the torch. With Cena at the end of the match after losing, taking off the armband and placing it on the mat, I don't call it a passing of the torch. I more call it a realization. Cena now realizes where he's at right now. Okay, not just from losing to someone like AJ Styles. He could have lost to anybody else that was trying to get this much of a favor. If Daniel Bryan was still around and they went for a fifth or sixth go around and Daniel kicked him again and beat him again, we would have the same kind of reaction. This is the kind of reaction I imagine Cena giving where he's just realizing where he is right now and what he is in comparison to everyone else on the roster. It's not a passing of the torch. Right now, the torch is lying on the ground. Okay, we don't know who the heck has it right now. And I dare not going to ask anyone to pick it up and take it because I don't know if anyone is really even prepared for that.
No.
I don't even know if we're really going to even have that.
We don't
because
know.
We're looking at 3 completely different television programs that they're doing right now with Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Mm-hmm. You're not going to have that one standard bearer, smile everywhere, and do everything, Make-A-Wish guy that John Cena is. You're no longer going to have that. And you know what? That's not a good thing.
They wanted Roman to be that guy, and the crowd just wasn't. Doesn't seem like they're ready for it. There was a heavy again reaction to his match on Monday on Raw, and then with the segment they did with Rusev tonight. I mean, it was funny listening to Brooklyn chant Rusev Machka really loud.
Oh, are you kidding me? I could tell that. Oh yeah, that's a sign they're cranky.
They're very cranky with Roman, but I think there's a genuine like, hey, this dude got popped for 30 days. He, probably did deserve to be in the main event last month, and now he's in a program with Rusev, and that's co-main eventing, next to Brock and Randy, and let's talk about the title matches since we're talking about that. I was incredibly underwhelmed by Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler, and it even goes back to the SmackDown Live show where they gave it to Ziggler, and I was covering that show live, and literally as it went, I was like, what? And it just, which is weird because a couple years ago, Ziggler felt like a genuine, like they were ready to kind of, bring him on up. I was never a proponent of he's in the doghouse and blah, blah, blah. I just thought, when they paired him with Big E and AJ, it worked really, really well. And when he won the title, it all came together well. He just had some bad luck with concussions. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of, and again, I have no idea what they're doing with Dean Ambrose right now. I mean, and maybe I'm alone in that, but there's just no interest from my side of the table with anything he's doing. I don't think he's a bad pro wrestler. I watched him wrestle a couple months ago. I was very impressed with that. Obviously, the fans have a connection with him, but I don't get it. I've tried. I don't get it. I don't understand it. There's just something missing there with Dean Ambrose, and I didn't think the answer was to then just pull the title off of Dean tonight and put it on Dolph, because that's not working. That's not the best.
No.
Yeah, that's not an answer for anything.
No.
But where are you at with Dean Ambrose right now as champion?
Let me see. I know that there are many people watching and listening right now that remember listening and hearing and reading about me when it comes to my thoughts about honor and respect. Okay. That's why this did not fly. Okay. When you are starting a brand new television program and you have a brand new champion that is going to be the figurehead of your program, the very first thing you need to do is to establish why he is the best guy, why he's the good guy. Is that what he's supposed to be? First off, is that what he's supposed to be? He's supposed to be a good guy, or is he supposed to be a bad guy? You need to establish on this brand new television program, this main character, what is he? Okay? And the only way you can do that is not just by segments within the show where he explains what's going on in his program and explains why they're having this match, but it's got to be against a foil, against someone who is the complete opposite of what he is, so that everything is clearly defined, so that everyone knows what these characters are and what they stand for. What are their ethics? What are their personalities? Where do they stand within this realm that is SmackDown Live? The last thing that you do is have a damn honor match or a respect match between two guys that were both good guys, and they're just trying to prove something. You don't try to prove anything in here. Someone's an asshole. Someone is Superman. That's what you're supposed to do. It's supposed to be good versus bad. Evil versus good is what it's supposed to be. This completely blurred the lines of anything that they tried to accomplish. Okay. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Dolph had some great promos and great mic work within the past 2 weeks on SmackDown to build up this match. But that would have been great if he was going against someone like Baron Corbin. It would have been great if he was going against someone like, dare I say, Kane, going against a heel, going against someone who's a bad guy. Okay, not against someone who's a good guy, who is a mirror image of him, who has the same story as he has, where he came out of nowhere and blah, 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 blah. That I totally understand where in some people's, sitting in a living room and playing a video game and having the two guys go against each other, that was a dream match to you because they have the same characters and you wanted to prove something and everything. That does not fly in television writing. That does not fly in this new program that you're trying to define characters in. Why doesn't it fly? You just saw the result. People go to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was not
That's
good.
what happened. No one had anyone to latch on to. Everyone just gets listless and tired. They go out to have a cigarette, or they start chanting CM Punk for no reason whatsoever. Okay? That's what happens. They have no one to latch on to. Okay? So what do they do from here on out? I hope they learned their lesson.
I did too.
You have got to have Dean go against a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Who is that bad guy? Take your pick. Okay? Don't even have to build him up. Okay? You've got a pay-per-view coming up on September 11th. We're looking at 3 weeks, I think. Not even that, maybe 2. No, 3 weeks from now.
3, yeah.
You got 3 weeks coming up. You've got a pay-per-view to build up somebody. Okay? You don't even have to build it up. Okay? Just have it be a bad guy of some kind. Kane is a perfect example. Just have it be him. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't want it to be him, don't have it be Baron Corbin. Don't waste that on him. That's worth building to something else, okay? Just have it be a bad guy. Don't make a big deal out of it. Don't make a big production out of it. Keep it simple. That's all. And no, we don't have to turn people a different direction or alter things, we just need to know what the hell Dean Ambrose is.
Well, Goosey is saying, or you could turn him heel, but I don't even know why I would care about him as a heel. I mean, we
don't even know what the hell he is now.
I don't know what Dean Ambrose is. He's just a dude who makes weird, crazy, and I remember people were so enamored with him too when the split from the Shield, and everyone's like, oh, I'm just like, I don't get it. And maybe this is just one of those characters in wrestling. I just, maybe it's not meant for me. I'm just never going to get it. I did not see the Stone Cold podcast, and I just read what people had said. I'm not a really big fan of the Stone Cold podcast format lately because it sounds like it would be a good discussion, and then when you see the end product, it's just kind of leaves more to be desired. So I've been kind of skipping them lately. I much prefer the Legends with JBL kind of setup, where they just, it's more of an organic conversation, whereas Austin feels like he's being kind of coached sometimes, and it's probably not his fault. He's got production and people talking to him in his ear and stuff, but the JBL series feels more human, more real, and so I've been skipping those, but I know people were making a big deal about how weird Dean was being on the Stone Cold podcast, so I don't know. Maybe that didn't help matters. Let's talk about the other title match. The first ever, I don't know. Did we ever? No, we didn't talk about the name. What do you think about the name, the Universal Championship? Are you just kind of, it's a term they've been using for a while now, and I guess make a title.
I guess.
It's basically the same title, but red leather, by the way.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone I've heard that I've read has been complaining about how it looks. Oh, it's the third title that looks the same. Well,
so.
Damn it, why don't you submit something? Okay? Damn it, why aren't you working for the WWE then?
It's belt marks. It's belt marks.
It's a belt. What do you want? Okay.
I don't
now,
care.
for me, I would have it been a crown. Okay.
A crown.
I want it to be a crown. Okay. That or a trophy, or just something that's a completely different piece of clothing.
Well, I was watching this pretty careful tonight because I don't know, have you watched much of Finn's matches on NXT TakeOver specials, or did you kind of just parachute in when you felt
No, I've been watching them. I've been watching them.
My overwhelming takeaway of him the last year and a half has been there's a little bit to be desired there in the ring. And I like what they did tonight with him. I think they still know that to a degree, and I liked that from right when the bell rang, he just ran full bore at Seth and hit that drop kick and just kind of set a pace. Because when he didn't set a pace in NXT, oh boy, did that it just did not go well. And I know I've had conversations with like Jason Amico about this, where he said, well, maybe because he's working as a babyface, and when he worked as a heel, he worked different. But I liked what they did tonight, where they went for it. Speaking of going for it, what did you think of going with him as they touted this on commentary with Michael Cole saying that he made history tonight. It was his first WWE pay-per-view match, and he is now a world champion. So granted, this is a new title they just created. It doesn't have the same lineage of the other title on the SmackDown brand, but what did you think about that call? Is this setting him up for disaster? Because we see this a lot where they give someone like, Paige comes in, she wins the belt on her first night. Now I know this isn't Finn's first night, but is this setting him up for failure by doing this quickly, or what did you make of it?
I don't want to say I was surprised. I mean, whichever decision they would go with, I was trying to put myself into the mindset of a writer and just going, okay, well, how am I going to justify whatever decision that I make? Okay. And in the case of Finn Balor, and I really don't like doing this. Because I always talk about like what I would like for them to do, but I won't get angry if they don't do it. Kind of getting in that mode.
Sure.
Well, this is what they should have done, and damn it, I'm not going to watch this again. Introducing this demon character onto mainstream television, okay, and then showing him on the pay-per-view. Okay, now just keep in your mind, what are they going to show on Raw tomorrow, or tonight for that matter? I am imagining Finn Balor being the WWE's Clark Kent. Okay. That he's never going to dress up as the demon thing on network television. But he'll have matches on network television, but he'll never be in the full garb.
Sure.
He'll just be as Clark Kent Finn Balor, and he will lose. He'll lose pretty bad. And the pacing that he'll set is the kind of stepping back and being traditional, wrestler Finn Balor guy. But when he dons the demon stuff and doing it on the pay-per-view, it will be the pacing and setting of tone that we saw tonight. Okay? In a perfect world, in my perfect world, that's what I would do. That's why this decision to make him the champion would be warranted, because this makes the character incredibly intriguing, makes it seem incredibly fragile, But at the same time, does it seem like they're strapping a rocket to him? Well, sure, but I've got faith in him. But the problem right now, Raw is having a problem that SmackDown does not have, okay? Raw is having the problem right now of, well, who else do we need to establish on this roster that it is a big deal for this championship? What I mean by that is, over on SmackDown, you have got Dean Ambrose. Dolph Ziggler was just pushed up to be on this echelon. You've got John Cena, AJ Styles, Randy Orton. We could throw some others in there. I'll put Apollo Crews in there for the hell of it. I'll put Baron Corbin in there for the hell of it. And you got maybe one or two others. 8, 9 guys immediately that I can say I would put in line to do a main event program of some kind. On Raw, I have no idea who the hell I want to use, because I have no clue. Who do I use? I mean, I dare not look at the Raw roster and try to figure it out right now, because all that's bearing on my mind is just Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. That's it. There's no one else. I mean, Brock Lesnar, sure, but you're not going to be doing that until probably Survivor Series or Royal Rumble.
Yeah, maybe.
So who? What are you going to be doing on the show to show that this, red licorice belt is a big deal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have no idea what they have in store. Okay. I'm still intrigued by Raw, just because they seem to have a lot more going for it, I guess.
They're really kind of saying, fuck it. And just kind of, I think, and I don't know if it was just a reflection of they know kind of where they're at from a creative standpoint, that they just kind of said, oh, let's just try it. And I know I was reading some feedback on Twitter that there were people kind of confused by some of the calls tonight by having Charlotte win the title. But AJ winning is good for the SmackDown brand. That kind of because it seems like maybe Cena's going to be taking some time off again. Or maybe not. Maybe we're making too much of a big deal out of him, leaving the wristband inside the ring tonight. But they definitely are. I hate to use the term youth movement, because that gets tossed around way too easily with wrestling.
It is by no means no youth movement.
It's not really.
These people are in their 30s.
It's people in their 30s, and it's people that technically have not been in this situation, for a while now. So we're gonna see what they do with it, but. I was actually a little surprised they decided to do it. I was kind of thinking, well, maybe they're building you up for the anticipation, or maybe they're gonna leave you wanting more from this demon thing, the Demon King is that they're calling him, and build that in the coming weeks till maybe Survivor Series, and maybe it'll be a short little reign. We don't know, but I was a little surprised by the call tonight. But I do like kind of what you're talking about using it sparingly and kind of having that be part of his character where you don't always see it, but when you do see it, it kind of means something. So that's kind of cool. Anything else? Like, we didn't really talk much about the opening tag match with Jericho and Owens against Enzo and Big Cass, but that was fine and a good little opener.
It's fun.
Miz and Apollo Crews. Again, Apollo is another one. I'm kind of like very talented guy in the ring, but why should I care about the dude? You got to do something. You got to.
Does he not smell like Bobby Lashley? Does he? And I'm not saying that everyone's going to remember who Bobby Lashley was.
And they may not, because it's been a long time, but
I'm just saying they're making the same mistakes that they made with Bobby Lashley with him. Okay?
Yeah, that's not good.
It's really, really bad.
They got to be careful with that one. Gallows and Anderson against New Day. You talked a little bit about Jon Stewart, and I'm kind of there with you. Stewart was. It made sense last year to use Stewart because he was still hosting The Daily Show, and you had Seth Rollins. I mean, granted, we saw that clip of Rollins on The Daily Show like 100 times, but it made sense. Yeah. And then you could work that into his show, and you kind of, but that doesn't exist anymore. So it's just and you could just tell the crowd wasn't feeling it.
No, not at all.
Big E being back is cool, and they're still. I think this marks a full year now that they've been tag champs. So that's. I mean, I don't know if that's
that's a thing.
That's a thing. I don't know if you're a belt mark. Maybe that makes you excited. What did you make of Nikki Bella coming back tonight and replacing Eva Marie?
Oh, that's good. I'm glad that happened.
Did you like what they did with Eva being suspended but still doing the... I love the intro personally. I think that's one of the best things they're doing on television right now.
I'm telling you right now, there are some things right now happening that are the greatest things that are happening in pro wrestling right now. Okay? Rusev is one of them. Okay. Braun Strowman is another.
Braun. I just want to sing.
Oh, God. Are you kidding me? Other great things that are happening in professional wrestling. Eva Marie, is one of the greatest things that happen right now in professional wrestling.
Does it surprise you how over the head that goes with wrestling fans?
No shock at all.
But seriously though, I seriously watch grown adults completely miss the point of it.
Yeah, completely miss out. I mean, it's not grasping it at all.
I was talking about the IQ test with drug testing. That to me is the IQ test with just like basic entertainment knowledge. Like, if the Eva Marie stuff is going over your head, good luck, because there's a definite intention there. I guess I was just shocked. Like, I think like Hunter was going, like, he saw the same stuff. He was like, grown adults are missing the point of this. I mean, it's shocking. I mean, this is an entertainment television show, and they're missing the point of what they're doing with. I guess that was surprising to me. But anyway, sorry.
I know. I just love the Eva Marie character. To me, is just God. It's so fabulous, and I just love how even I'll go ahead and admit when she was pegged for the 30-day suspension. To me, I was like, oh, this is a work. This has got to be a work. I don't care if it's a work or not now. I don't care. Just play it off. It's fabulous.
They were hinting at that. They were playing with fire when they started playing her intro. I was like, oh boy, are we gonna get the ha ha ha? But I liked what they did. That she was what they said. She had exhaustion. She had anxiety. Yeah. She went on a vacation, so she's on an extended vacation, and so
her flight was delayed.
Her flight was delayed. Yeah, so we'll see how it develops.
She's locked in her hotel room. You think of anything.
There's so many things they can do. Yeah.
So much stuff you can do. And I want her to get a title. She must get a title.
They're going to get I kind of just want to see it for the anger from the wrestling fans. Just because they take this. Okay. This is one of those things where when wrestling fans take a entertainment show too seriously. Case in point, Eva Marie. It's like, calm down. It's supposed to be ridiculous. Calm down.
Yeah. But Nikki Bella being back, that's great.
She's back. Yeah. She's doing stuff. I actually thought the girls did pretty good tonight. I think the only one that always kind of catches me off guard is Carmella. I don't know why she's doing the Enzo thing still. She's pretty good in the ring. She's a very pretty girl, but it just doesn't fit her. It just doesn't. The Staten Island, every time she walks out, just no reaction. And I feel like they could do something with her. I hate to fantasy book with her, but there's something there. Like, she's got the look, she's competent in the ring. It's just the whole trying to do the Enzo cast thing. I'm not feeling that at all. And a lot of people seem to be totally fine with it.
Well, can we not just make her angry Jersey girl?
Sure, I'd be fine with that. Or angry Staten Island girl, or just maybe it's the babyface thing. I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's the babyface thing.
Maybe it's the babyface thing. That could be the problem.
I'm just looking at this right now. You have got Naomi and Becky, and Nikki coming back. Nikki's an in-betweener. Okay, Nikki, everyone's going to cheer for or boo depending on who she's going against, But Carmella right now, you can't try to piggyback off of a gimmick that you are not associated with.
Exactly.
That no one else knows that you are. Yes, everyone that has the WWE Network and has been watching NXT knows that you were with them. But the majority of people don't. It ain't gonna fly. Okay? You need to find something your own. And my opinion, just be an angry woman. Just be angry. Show an attitude. Have the attitude that Sasha Banks wishes that she could have.
Yeah, Sasha's another one that I think leaves a lot to be desired on the microphone, at least for me.
Oh, yeah.
She just talks too fast. She has kind of a Scott Steiner syndrome sometimes, where her brain is moving faster than her lips, and just doesn't seem to go too well. I'm going to refresh the poll. The majority, 45%, thumbs down, 33% thumbs in the middle, and 22% thumbs up. So it does not seem like a lot of people like this show tonight, Douglas. Where are you at?
Well, they were cranky. They were tired. Me, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm so close to giving it a thumbs down, but I don't want to be lumped into that crowd. I think I'm really more on the thumbs down just because, I almost fell asleep.
I'm in the middle. I thought Cena and AJ did enough to keep it in the middle. I actually really liked the ending to Brock and Randy tonight. Even Finn and Seth was okay. It was surprising to me. There was obviously some disappointments with. Dean. I would have to say Dean and Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler was the biggest disappointment of the night. Charlotte and Sasha Banks was another big disappointment. And then there was just kind of filler stuff, which you're going to have. So I can't get mad at Miz and Apollo Crews because they were never designed to be this epoch, match or anything like that. It was just filler, and
yeah,
they may have made the right call by doing Reigns and Rusev on Raw and then holding off on that for the pay-per-view. But I know there's people. I saw this laundry list as we're going to close up here on this note, but I saw a laundry list of people say, well, this is what they should do at SummerSlam, and I had a feeling people were going to. There was this talk of Gallows and Anderson run out and they help Finn and they reform, the Bullet Club. And I just have a feeling like don't do that. If you do that, you're just going to set yourself up for failure and you're just going to hate the show no matter what. But I'm with you. It wasn't a great show. I'm going with a thumbs in the middle. So
yeah, I'm kind of thumbs in the middle. Just everyone, just stop it.
I know people get excited.
Just take it easy. Take it easy. Just bear in mind that everything's going to be great tomorrow. Braun Strowman is going to destroy a poor white man in the ring.
Nia Jax will beat up a chick, and
and then Nia Jax will be out there and just beat up another small chick. Braun and Nia will get together and have ginormous babies.
There you go.
Stuff like that. Okay, everything will be fine in the end.
It'll work out. It'll work out.
We just need to figure out what the fuck Dean Ambrose is.
That's my biggest question: is why is this dude champion? Why should I care? I'm still asking this question. Don't get it.
Yeah. And the thing is, and we just watched an entire bio video about him. That's what's even worse.
I know that's that's terrible that they have a video package about why you should care about this dude, and you're still like, okay, whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah, he does things. He's believing in himself.
He's a dude.
Big deal. There are a lot of people in high school that believed in themselves, and one of them just got arrested for meth. Okay, what are you going to do?
Pretty much. All right, well, we're going to close up. We wanted to come on here for at least an hour. We gave you an hour and get some quick thoughts. We'll keep you posted. We're going to keep doing more of these. People seem to be enjoying them, so we're going to keep pumping them out. And I'm going to be doing something very soon with Trey as well. We're going to be doing a Trey and Adam live show, focusing more on games because there's some cool stuff coming out in the next few weeks, so stay tuned to the Facebook page. We'll have an audio version of this on our feed for the Trey and Adam show. We'll pump that out on Wrestleview. We'll pump it out on the Trey and Adam show Facebook page, so you'll always find a way. I'll tweet it out at Adam Wrestleview. I'm sure Douglas will at Doug Wrestleview as well. So thank you for tuning in. Any parting shots, Douglas, as we close the, what was this, a 6 hour?
Oh, God.
Even more if you add an NXT the night before.
I know. You want to add the 10 hours of wrestling.
Yeah, I'm wasted, dude.
That's about what it is.
I had a long day Saturday, and I closed it with the UFC, and that was an amazing fight. And then this is just, whew, man, this is just.
Well, my long day, today, I'll just go and say it today. After my girlfriend and I had brunch, she went and did some work in her office. I binged on the NXT special Saturday.
Sure.
I watched the last 2 episodes of the Cruiserweight Classic. Mm-hmm. And then after that, she and I went to the lake to see her family. I got back here to watch the pre-show and the SummerSlam.
Oh, good God, dude. No wonder why. You're burnt. That's too much wrestling.
I am burnt out on homoerotic fixations.
I didn't watch a second of that NXT special, and I almost started to fire it up, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to get too burnt out if I watch that. And then this tonight, so I'm glad I didn't watch a second of it yet. I'm going to at some point, but
I guess
too much
that
wrestling.
I just want to say, and you can catch it on the Trey and Adam feed or whatnot, because I posted it on there. First off, number one, Cruiserweight Classic. If I had been watching Jack Gallagher 20 years ago when I was a kind of in Cheeto Muncher phase of professional wrestling, that phase would have lasted longer. He is so much fun to watch.
I'll have to check it out.
You got to check him out. He's absolute hoot to watch.
And
fun stuff. Okay.
I heard good things about the NXT special too, so I would assume that's worth going out of your way to.
Bobby Roode's entrance will make you love wrestling again. Okay, that's number one. And yes, he is. His character is fabulous. His character is what Ted DiBiase Jr. wishes he could have been. Okay. He is like the closest thing to Ted DiBiase in my mind. Just wish he had a cackle like him. Other things about the show, title matches and prestige, and it's okay. Bailey Asuka is kind of fun. You know. I'm talking. No Way Jose needs to be on WWE television soon. And I mean soon.
You think he's ready for it, or does he need some more time?
I am only going to give him one more month. Okay? He has got a look about him that screams Coco Beware.
Doug wants to strap a rocket to his ass and put him. What would you put him, Raw or SmackDown?
I would slap him right on SmackDown.
Okay, I was going to say SmackDown probably is better.
Yeah, Raw, I got no freaking clue.
We got the little flippies coming to Raw soon, I think. The cruiserweights.
Yeah, the flippy flips, the little critters.
Yeah, little critters
coming over to Raw. They're the 2 episodes I watched were kind of fun to watch. You know, because the pacing was a lot slower for me.
It seemed to have a very Japanese wrestling sports kind of presentation to it, from what the little I saw.
Well, yeah, shake hands before the match. Yeah. Yes, I respect you.
I respect you, Doug. I know, all that fun stuff. Which can be fine. Which, you know what, in small doses it's fine because it's an hour show. So maybe in small doses it's not so terrible.
Yeah.
So you would highly recommend NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2?
Oh, sure. I'd go ahead and recommend that.
Okay.
That's not a problem. Samoa Joe Shinsuke was fun. I don't know why everyone still gets a hard-on over Shinsuke. I don't get it. I don't know. He still looks like a tard to me. You know, he still looks like he has some kind of defect.
Frank in our group always shares a photo of Shinsuke. He goes like, it's nice that they let special people wrestle on major pay-per-views. And he
looks like that. He really does. He looks like he rides the short bus into the performance center. You know,
so got
it. Yeah, but No Way Jose is absolutely fabulous.
Who did he have? Did he have a match with Austin Aries, or who did he have?
He had the match with Austin Aries, and then Aries ended up winning that. But then Hideo Itami came out, and he didn't go to sleep.
He didn't go to sleep, although technically he did it before Punk did, right? At least as far as I know.
Well, I don't care.
I don't care. I don't know. Punk's going to be too busy taking his first fight, which is going to be coming up in a few weeks, actually, which is going to be crazy. They actually bumped. I don't know if you saw. They bumped it. He was supposed to open the UFC 203 card, and they bumped it to the third fight, so he's right before the co-main event, which is crazy. So, and they dedicated I want to say 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more they actually have a very good, if you're interested, there's a very good documentary series where they were rolling camera immediately when he announced that he was signing with the UFC, which at this point it was 2 years ago almost. But it's really cool. They follow him in Milwaukee, training how, when he first started, and maybe it's gotten better since then, but he has his first legit sparring fight, and it doesn't go too well for him. So you get to see the struggle there. But they dedicated about 10, 15 minutes to him last night during the UFC pay-per-view, which I was pretty surprised about. So he already was going to have a lot of attention, but now it's, oh boy, man, I hope he knows what he's getting himself. He's not fighting a destroyer, but he's definitely fighting a guy with a lot more experience than him. So it's going to be interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. So maybe I'll do a Facebook Live after that goes down, because that's going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be fun.
Yes.
It's going to be good. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Wrestleview.com. At Doug Wrestleview is where you can find Douglas on the Twitter. I am at Adam Wrestleview on the Twitter. We'll have an audio version of this up. Of course, you can check out the video version of this on our Facebook page for Wrestleview, facebook.com/Wrestleview, and of course, Wrestleview.com. So we'll keep you posted when we do the new one. We didn't really announce this ahead of time, Doug, but we kind of just, people were hanging out. We said, hey, let's do a Facebook Live. And
hey, what you guys doing? We're doing something. You guys doing something? Oh, hey, let's just go ahead and talk stretchy pants.
They're simple to do. And I will have a written review up of SummerSlam, even though you just heard me talk about it for an hour, so you probably don't give a shit. I just realized as I was saying that, as I was speaking that, I went, why would you read my review if you just listened to me talk about it?
Yeah, why would you want to read about what we just talked about for an hour? I just
talked about it, so So maybe you want to read it, maybe you don't. I don't know. So some people do. I've had people tell me they prefer to read reviews versus listen to reviews. Some people are into podcasts, and some people don't care, and they just want to read something quick or come back to it later or whatever. So anyway, maybe you're one of those people. So we'll see how it goes. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you very soon. Bye.